The city of Denver says it's found a successful approach to addressing homelessness, which might come as a surprise to anyone who has recently been in Denver. With the claim that this has a 77% success rate, our new Roy wants to know more about it and how the city can scale up the approach.
It's what's happening inside buildings like this in Denver that the city says is working so well.
Addressing homelessness with a housing resource.
It's affordable housing with wraparound services that's reaching some of the hardest to reach people.
People who had been pretty disconnected from our systems of support, that were largely having multiple arrests and jail, as well as emergency room visits in a year. And so we showed that even for those who had been a little bit more far removed from some of these supports, once they were housed and had support, more than 77% were still successfully housed 3 years later.
But how do you reconcile that with what we've been showing you, like the situation at Union Station with drug use, drug-related arrests, and people experiencing homelessness? Civic Center Park temporarily shut down in the fall for public health and environmental risks.
We have 190 of these long-term vouchers that were an emergency intervention for 190 people experiencing homelessness. Well, we have around 5,000 on any given day.
But we're pretty far behind the 8 ball because we weren't doing it when we started to see increases in homelessness.
The city is working on opening up 1,800 supportive housing units in the next decade. But what about now? Over the course of last year, nearly 12,900 people were living unsheltered.
It's like using motels and hotels, which the city is doing right now, but we may need to do that on a longer-term basis. We could look at other, unused properties. I think the safe outdoor spaces have been very successful for a lot of people.
I can't promise that no one will ever have a housing crisis resulting in homelessness.
That includes the city's reality check.
But what we want to get to is the point where we have enough housing resources and that it matches the number of people in housing crisis that's resulted in homelessness every month. That's what functional zero is.
So one area of improvement is helping more veterans. We heard about that today, both from the city and then also read about it in a report from the Metro Denver Homeless Initiative. For that big picture, though, the goal is to bring 7,000 affordable housing units online in the next 5 years. That's going to include more of those housing units that are wrapped up with those support services, which is key to making this work. Voters had said yes to setting aside that money back in 2020. So that's what's going to be helping to fund that going forward.
You often hear that when something like this is offered to some folks who are living on the street, they're resistant because there's strings attached, that kind of thing. What's the reception been like?
Yeah, so we asked Kathy with the Coalition for the Homeless, who helped with that initial outreach. They said the first 100 people they reached out to, 99 said, yeah, we want this help. We want to opt in. But it wasn't a yes from the get-go. They had to build that relationship. They had to build that trust. And then people started moving into some of these housing units. We asked the same thing about how many people are actually opting to go to shelters. And Kathy said it's the same thing. It was just dependent person to person if they felt comfortable there. Could they bring all of their belongings with them? What were the rules? And then COVID was playing a role in that as well.
It's great to see people with concrete approaches as opposed to just talk about things, Anusha, thank you.